Big game for Jose Mourinho, so too for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Can United pick up where they left off, unbeaten 5 in the Premier League? Let's hear from the Norwegian now, both on the game itself and on Marcus Rashford.
Well, it's a great game, a big game against one of the best teams in the league, of course, Champions League finalists less than a year ago. So we know that we're up for a hard game. We've prepared as well as we can. We've trained well. The boys trained well over the lockdown. We've had a couple of in-house 11v11s, and we had one 11v11 against West Brom, which hopefully will stand us in good stead. These are, of course, we're young. They look fit and ready. So we'll see tomorrow night. What Marcus has done has been incredible with his family, with his own personality, of course. Marcus has always been a great human being, and coming up through the academy, I think the club recognised that early on and gave him chances. Of course, we saw the talent, but you need to be a really good human being as well to come all the way through. And he's changed the lives of so many kids this summer, which is more important than any game of football that he'll probably play. So hopefully he can keep both sides going as well as he's doing now.
It has been some week for Marcus Rashford, hasn't it, Don?
It's going to get better as well. Just give him an MBE, give him sports personality, because what he's done has been absolutely remarkable. And interesting to hear Ollie Day's manager saying, look, he's a tremendous human being, and they give him chances when he was coming through the youth system. So you can obviously tell, you know, you're always trying to judge what people are like. We look from a little bit from out to in, and we try and judge what characters we see when they play. But you obviously can tell in Marcus that there's a real special and humble human being in there.
Yeah, for many of our viewers who might not be aware, he's been campaigning to provide free school meals for those who need it over the summer, for those children in need. And he managed to convince the government in the end, and they've done it, which is just shows the power of the individual, because as he's told the media since, he's been in their position.
Absolutely, he's walked their path, you know, so he's not talking from the outside and thinking this would be a nice thing to do. He really feels for it. You know, he's been in their position. His mum's worked tirelessly to feed him and his family, bring him up, and he knew how difficult it was for her. So he appreciates there's a lot of families out there are struggling. Kids are not at school at the moment. They do not get that free meal, which might be their only meal of the day. And it's really important. And he's using his platform. He's got a huge online following, quite rightly so, from what he does as a footballer. And now he should get even more followers for what he does as an actual human being. It's a magnificent gesture from Marcus Rashford. And I'm glad that the government over here have decided to do a U-turn and do the right thing, which is to feed them kids through the summer period.
I think he said, didn't he? I think he tweeted last week that this is the biggest win and will always be the biggest win of his life. So it shows you sort of how much it means to him and how much these young players playing in the Premier League and other leagues around the world. You know, we talked about the guys taking a knee as well. It's just so important that everyone sort of listens to what these young footballers, especially Marcus Rashford and people like Raheem Sterling, as I said at the top of the show, you know, they're a massive influence for young, you know, black footballers, black kids growing up. They feel as though they've got someone to lean on, and they always seem to be offering advice.
It puts many things in perspective, but you know, there's a game to be played on Friday, and you know, we're here to look forward, to look ahead to this one. I mean, it's intriguing in so many respects because the stakes couldn't be higher. Both these sides looking for a top 4 finish, and both, of course, looking to like players coming back from the sidelines. We're hearing that Jose Mourinho has said in the last few moments Harry Kane will start. He's got Son at his disposal as well, whereas Solskjaer, he welcomes back Pogba and Rashford to the mix for them.
And McTominay, another one. I'm trying to take all this week when I'm trying to look at the fixtures. I'm trying to take form out of my vocabulary and conversation because you can't read into it to any form. But I just wonder, from Ollie's point of view, will he go with more or less exactly the same tactics that beat Tottenham at Old Trafford? They had that week, didn't they, where they beat Tottenham and beat Man City, which I never thought, I didn't see happening. I thought Tottenham and the form that they were in at the time and City would turn them over. So they seem to be a better side when they play counter-attacking football. But now all of a sudden you had the dynamic of Paul Pogba being back with Bruno Fernandes, who's just been an unbelievable signing. And then that grit of Scott McTominay. And then you mentioned Rashford and Martial and Daniel James. So I think they'll try and play in the counter. Trying to call the game's another matter.
Yeah. How will Jose play at Tottenham? Will he be the spoiler in this fixture?
Jose will try to find a way to win, because without doubt, they need to win this football match. If I'm Ole Gunnar Solskjaer preparing my team for this game and saying we're looking down, the prize this year for us in the league is top 4. Now, when we look down at the teams, who's the danger? Tottenham are the team. Before the break, you would say no danger whatsoever. Yeah. No Son, no Kane, no Sissoko, no Bergwijn. Yeah. So you'd think they would no danger whatsoever. It's come at the right time, the break. They've got all their players fit. But so, on the other hand, Pogba's back. Marcus Rashford is back. For me, I give Manchester United the edge, because I could pick their team. Yeah. Now, if everyone's fit, I could pick their team. Most importantly, I could pick their back 4. I think he's going with a settled back 5 with the goalkeeper De Gea in there now. McTominay back. I think it'd be really great to see McTominay play in there with Fernandes and Pogba. I think what a strike force that would be, to let them off the leash, let McTominay go and patrol in front of the back 4. I think they're capable of taking the game to Tottenham, which I think Jose might prefer. He knows he's got the pace now. He knows he's got Bergwijn on the counter. He knows he's got Son, and he knows he's got Harry Kane, who will score the goals. Tottenham have got the worst defensive record in the league. Not good enough. No clean sheets. They need to keep clean sheets. For me, I give Manchester United the edge. If Tottenham do not win this game, they're 7 points adrift of Manchester United with 8 games to go. Too much to do.
How do Spurs negate that threat of the new burgeoning partnership between Fernandes and Pogba? Is it Lo Celso and Winks? Does Sissoko come in?
That's the whole point. I couldn't pick Tottenham.
But who would you go for?
Oh, well, I need to see him in training. Jose's seen a lot. He's had the time. He always harping on about he needs time to work, to get his methods across to the players. He's had that time now. By hook or by crook, he's got the players back fit. He's had the time to work on a system, what they all need to know inside out. Whether they like it or whether they don't. He's the manager. They've got to stick to it. The fans will not care if he relinquishes style for these last few games, 9 games. These are cup finals, for getting in the Champions League. And Daniel Levy won't mind. No matter how you play, just get the job done. Get us into the top 4.
I'm not so sure you can go Harry Winks and Lo Celso as a pair.
No. Too lightweight for you.
Good on the ball.
Yeah.
Both of them fantastic on the ball, but can you get the ball back? We talked about what Man City done to Arsenal, and they didn't have any guys that could get the ball back. That's my worry. So I wonder if, like Tim said, you don't know the scenes in terms of who's physically fit and who's capable of playing an hour or 90 minutes. So I try and find a way for Sissoko, because I think his form in midfield has been good. Not in terms of him getting on the ball and spraying passes and opening defences up, but he gives you that legs, doesn't he? He gives you that stature in midfield, energy, where you can go box to box, and you can close people down and you can make your recovery runs. I think Jose's too smart, in my opinion, to go with just Lo Celso and Harry Winks.
Yeah. Do you think Pogba will start?
I would start with him. I mean, I think...
Because there have been reports that he'll start on the bench.
I think I've laid all my cards on the table about this boy, Paul Pogba. For me, he plays every single game. I would take the armband off the... I would persuade him to stay at Manchester United. I think it's the biggest club in the world. I think he needs the biggest stage in the world. If he wants to be there at the football club, for me, I'll take the armband off Maguire and give it to this boy and make him more responsible. For me, he's one of the most outstanding midfield players we've seen in the Premier League. But he needs to do it on a regular basis.
Yeah. That's my worry. That would be my only debate with Tim, where I love him. I think he's got ability, stature, he's confident, he's arrogant. Look at his running power. I mean, you can't catch him once he gets past you, but he has to do it more, Manish. You can't, if you want to be labelled, and people get labelled world-class players too easy these days. If you want to be labelled as a world-class player, you can't be 1 in 5 or 1 in 10. You got to turn it on 7, 8 times out of 10, because that's what the very best do. When we talk about Messi and we talk about Ronaldo and we talk about Busquets and Luka Modric and all the Pjanic and all the players you want to name around the world that are at their highest level, they are playing ridiculous football every week.
Look at that. His output is better, isn't it, under Solskjaer than it is under Jose Mourinho in terms of goals per game, the chances created, shots on target, just up nominally.
Just free him up. I mean, that's what you would do.
That was my next question, is because by playing alongside Fernandes, you've got 2 guys who clearly just want to go ahead.
Nothing wrong with that. If you play a 3, you know, there's nothing wrong with if you have. I always call it a number 4. I think Tim labels it a 6, but a holding midfield player like Sok McTominay or Nemanja Matic
or a Fred,
and you say who's in good form. If you say to one of them guys, probably Matic would come to mind because he's more probably disciplined. McTominay's got more energy. You just sit there and let the other two, Fernandes and Pogba, play as 8s, and they can go box to box, up and down, and when they get high up the pitch, let them go and create, let them be expansive, if you like, or have a free mind and let them play how they want. As long as you are the insurance in that midfield, let those boys go and play.
I mean, it's a real great game, isn't it? I mean, it's a fantastic, the biggest game.
Yeah.
Since the restart, this is going to be the biggest game. And it's so important to both sides. I always look at both squads. Tottenham there, Manchester United there. How many Tottenham players get in Manchester United? I would say only 2. Only 2. Harry Kane and Son. The rest of these, Man United, I would want to be managing the red side rather than the white side if I'm the manager of both.
And talking of the white side, Bergwijn, Kane and Son is not a bad front 3 in itself, is it? And this extended period of the season has allowed Kane to come back. And it makes so much difference to the way Tottenham go about it.
I always tell you about the best goal scorers. You've got to have an appetite and you've got to be hungry to score goals. And that's what he does.
Yeah. Is there any kind of word of caution with Harry Kane? You talk about coming back from injury. When he does do that, particularly the last couple of seasons, it's taken him a while to get going.
Yeah.
This season is only condensed in 6 weeks. Yeah. He's got to hit his straps.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. But I think in recent years, when he's been out with that ankle injury, he's come back too soon because he wants to do well. He wants to do well for himself because he wants that golden boot, as he's picked up on numerous occasions. But he also wants to do well for the fans. They're not going to be there now. So he needs to look after his body somewhat, because this is a muscle injury we're talking about. This is a hamstring injury. When you go flat out, he needs to be... I mean, the sports scientists are out. I mean, there's a huge amount of sports scientists at every Premier League club now. Now's their time to earn their weight in gold. Now, if it means they need to pull him out of the arena, it'd be tough to do that, by the way. To say to Jose Mourinho, don't play Harry because he's going to break down and he's going to miss the last 5 games.
Can you imagine?
They're not going to win that battle, by the way, let me tell you. But sometimes they might have to be strong, because the last thing they need is for him to play in the first 2 games and miss the last 7. End of season, end of Champions League hopes if that happens.
Not a bad squad, though, is it, when you look at who could come in? You think of Son and Bergwijn and Moura.
Not bad when you're playing the rest of the league, apart from Liverpool, Man City and Manchester United, in my opinion, and Chelsea, who they've got to come.
Yeah.
I would rather have Man United squad than I would Tottenham's.
How do you see it panning out?
I think Tim's convinced me that Man United are going to win. I was a lot more 50-50 beforehand.
I always do that on the reverse psychology. So I say, well, I was right, but I really wanted Tottenham to win.
The other game on Friday, Norwich against Southampton. Norwich